This is an SM Media production. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the SM Media Pro Wrestling Show. We have a special episode this week. We are going to cover, finally, our WrestleMania forfeits. Now, it finished a draw in our prediction show, as you will have remembered watching. So, in this episode, we are going to have a bit of fun. We have 10 subjects that we're going to throw at each other. Mine's are going to be to Scott. I'm going to throw to Scott 10 gimmicks that were very, very underrated, and Scott's going to tell me with the devil eyes in his blood why these gimmicks were actually very, very good and very underrated. And Scott's going to throw at me 10 reasons why Tony Khan is the best booker in wrestling. Scott, this is going to be really, really fun. Probably going to be a bit embarrassing, but I'm really, really excited to see how low we're going to stoop here.
Yeah, I'm conflicted at how I'm going to tell you how good Eugene is, because there's ways you can go down with a lot of these ones. But I think I actually think mine is harder than yours.
Probably, yeah,
because yours are universally bad, but there's parts of there's a good part of the wrestling world that thinks Tony Khan actually is a good booker.
Yeah, I'm not one of them. So
I will say mine's aren't really booker. Mine's are a lot of like owner and like, but something a booking, something like an owner and a businessman.
Yes, so like Tony Khan's the messiah of wrestling, I think is what we're going to go with here, right? And I'm going to give you 10 brilliant gimmicks in WWE that should have been better suited. Right. Have any news to talk about? Has anything been happening? It's been a quiet week. The only thing really off the top of my head is like Anarchy in the Arena and some Vince McMahon stuff, but I think we'll keep the Vince McMahon stuff to the side and just focus on Dynamite. Again, King of the Ring was Monday's King of the Ring was excellent. To be fair, we should probably talk about that. Monday's Raw was very good. Monday's Raw felt like a really good Dynamite. Like
that's what I was saying. Because it's just I think I've said before. WWE and AEW have got their own sort of road past to go. AEW's a lot of very good in ring work, whereas WWE's your storytelling, soap opera, that kind of thing. While there's a Venn diagram there with some stories. I think they each have their own path, but I think Monday's Raw was an example of that Venn diagram in terms of WWE just put on. I think the three best matches. You had Ilya Ricochet, Gunter Sheamus, obviously, and was it Io Natalia?
Yeah, that was good. Where does that Gunter Sheamus match rank in terms of the three? So you'd Clash, which I think is very hard to beat, but is it as good as the one in SmackDown?
I would probably I think Clash is obviously the best because you get the crowd, the atmosphere, the fact that it was on a PLE, the fact there was no ad breaks as well, which definitely helped it. Have you seen another bit of news that's came out this week? Have you seen the Ric Flair thing?
Yes, I have. Yeah. Right. There's two wee things there, right? So that was obviously important. Did you see the Hulk Hogan interview in Christian TV?
What's he said now?
So he said this before, to be fair, right? And this is an episode I want to do. I want to do a Hulk Hogan's live thing. We'll talk about Ric Flair in a second. You just reminded me of this. Hulk Hogan claims to have received a voice note from Roddy Piper 2 days after he's died. Have you seen that?
I saw this. Yeah, I saw this.
And listen to the voicemail, by the way. It's Roddy Piper. But
does he have proof of the date it was sent?
It's the thing I keep saying though with Hogan is that his story's brilliant enough. Like, it doesn't need this nonsense of I created water and fire and dogs. It just doesn't need to do it. Who's the biggest star in wrestling history? He's got a case for it.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be saying like I discovered Kevin Owens. Do you know what I mean? Like, but the Ric Flair stuff's a bit bad. He just kind of needs to fall off the face of the earth, doesn't he? Like,
just be old. Just at your house. Like, just be old.
Not that I'm condoning this, but in the nicest possible terms, he kind of needs just put down like old Yeller, doesn't he? It just needs to be like, Rick, just...
It's like a family dog you don't really want
to stay at home. just stay at home. Like, don't do anything. Like, once every 5 years in Raw, if you're still there, come out and wave. Like,
is he still under AEW contract?
I must be. Again,
Yeah.
have you seen the bad rap that his energy just was getting?
No.
Apparently, and I wasn't aware of this, and again, I have never tasted Ric Flair's energy drink, but apparently it's got like, apparently it's got like toxins that are like lethal. So
Everyone slags off Prime, but at least Prime is. I know you're not the biggest fan of hydration. I like the energy drink, the cans. That's quite nice.
yeah,
At least that's
I've tried
more
it once
legit.
and never liked it. I was like, I remember folk were like bulk buying it like £9 a bottle and things like that. Like that was ridiculous. But yeah, I mean,
everyone reduced to clear.
he's kind of Ric Flair's just reached a stage where you're just like, just stop it. Just go and do something. Just go and read and like cut your grass and do
Just
stuff.
be old.
Aye, just be old. Be an old papa and like it doesn't need to do this. Like just do what like who off the top of my head, just do what Bret Hart's doing. Well, Bret Hart's just kind of slagging everybody under the sun. I'm not advising him to do that, but go and do a podcast. Just go and do a podcast and do
What
your
Undertaker's doing?
Aye, Jim Cornette. It could be the nice version of Jim Cornette.
I don't go down the same route as Jim Cornette.
Don't go down that same route, but Jim Cornette seems to be just like doing his podcast and signing his autographs, and you don't really hear about him.
Being vaguely racist and homophobic, but that, just don't do that bit.
Yeah,
Do the rest of it.
Yeah, but again, it's just that kind of old thing. Dynamite was fine. Again,
I really like the Adam Copeland Brody King.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I really like that. Yeah.
Did you see the Sky Blue thing?
Yeah, that's wild,
That's
isn't it?
bad, isn't it? It's like, and we're not. Well, like that is happening a lot now. By the way,
not just in wrestling, in like society in general.
There is absolutely no need for that in any.
Like the guy, apparently, the guy had a kid with him.
Yeah,
guy is Wayne.
What on earth are you doing? Like, I just and again, we're at the stage now where you're like, do we have like, because fans are really really close to the ring, and that is, we saw that last week in France. That is what makes wrestling, is the fans being like involved. They're gonna do stupid stuff like that. No, go back to the Thunderdome if we're gonna be like that. Because it's not needed.
No, I mean it's just because I feel like it's just this is gonna go down different from wrestling, but it's almost gone backwards.
Yeah,
everyone thinks we're going forwards, women equal rights, and but in terms of opinions, I see it. Or I can't open up Twitter without seeing a homophobic, transphobic thing. Yeah. Every time I open Twitter, sort of racist, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's folk trying to push back against what people going back to the olden days. And that's an example. Like, can he say that? How old Sky Blue? I think she must be early 20s.
Yeah, she's not. She's 25 if that. It's like she's not.
I'm 23, so she's not much old. She won't be much different from me.
Remember a couple of years ago though, did Scarlett not get it? And was it AAA? Am I not right in saying there was something like that happened with Scarlett?
That rings a vague bell.
Yeah, there was something like that. It's not the first time. And again, there was the famous story of, I think somebody touched Natalia or something. There was like there's a lot of it.
There was an Alexa Bliss one as well. I remember.
Aye, like we don't need that. Like, pay your tickets, do what you want. That stuff.
Wrestling a bad rep as well.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get to. That's more like, oh, that's what wrestling fans do to the women wrestlers. It's not the case. And 2 or 3 bad apples for every 1,000 does not represent wrestling fans. And again, it does give when wrestling is kind of probably its best it's been in years. This is the sort of stuff that takes it down the hill.
Especially the world we're living in, with the wrestling world we're living with the Vince McMahon thing.
Yes,
which came out this week as well. That's because people, if you're on the street, people will see Vince McMahon as the head of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like your average Joe in the street, and then you Google Vince McMahon and see what has been accused and all that, and then you get fans doing that. That's not how
it paints a picture. It paints a bad picture. Speaking of Vince McMahon, before we get into John Laurinaitis is doing more turning than a card. He's shuffling.
Miles off at him.
He's losing his mind. Now, there's one reason for this, and again, this is subject to litigation, so we're not going to go too deep into this. he is clearly I think we are going to get a jury trial.
Do you think?
Yes. Either that or a massive settlement.
That's what I think. It'll settlement.
It's either it's one of the two, isn't it? But
it'll be high 8 figures settlement.
Oh, but yeah. Have you seen what Vince McMahon's been doing with himself recently? You seen this?
No, I don't know. He sold shares.
Apparently, he went to the Virgin Islands and brought back 8 cats and a dog, or vice versa, to give to all his pals. So he's dog trafficking now as well. It's not great. I mean, think of Vince McMahon. Think of the guy who made Trish Stratus bark like a dog and once
Natalia fart.
Yeah, well, spoiler alert.
Oh no!
That Vince McMahon is now basically the modern day Cruella de Vil.
Have you seen him?
Yeah, he looks terrible.
He looks bad, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
It kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me. Yeah. Do you ever watch Lazy Town?
Yeah.
Remember Robbie Rotten? That's who he looks like. That's the first thing that comes to my head. Is like that's Robbie Rotten.
I don't know if this is him going. I don't know if this is actually him and how he is, or he's going down the Harvey Weinstein route of looking old and frail for public sympathy.
Yeah. Right, let's get into our forfeits. So we've got 10 each. I've got 10 gimmicks that Scott's going to present as world-class gimmicks, and you're going to give me 10 reasons why Tony Khan is the brilliant god of wrestling. I'm going to start first. You've already mentioned her. Why was Natalia's fart gimmick so underrated?
It made her unique. She stood out from the rest of the roster because this was the point in late 2008, 2009 roughly. Maybe better 2007, where not a lot of women had gimmicks. All the women's gimmicks was I am blonde, I am hot, I can't wrestle more than 2 minutes because Vince won't let me.
Yeah.
But this actually made her stand out for people still remember it. This is 15 years later, and when folks still think of Natalia's farting on telly, so. Yeah, made her stand out because
this was right in the middle of the Divas of Doom thing, wasn't it? It was right in the middle of her and Beth.
Roughly, round about that time, yeah.
Like, it didn't.
And then Beth went with Santina. Great Cat Lee was round about there for some reason. So yeah, I'm so glad we have Rhea Charlotte now.
And Natalia's getting used well. Like,
yeah, I mean, we had a decent match on Raw as well.
Yeah. But there was one day where, do you remember the one she made Hornswoggle faint?
Faint?
That was the best. That was the funniest thing ever. That was peak WWE comedy. That was. Remember Hornswoggle was everywhere. He'll come up later.
Peak WWE comedy. Oh, what was it called? What's the YouTube show called?
The JBL and Cole show.
No, it was like Rusev was great. Cena.
Southpaw Regional Wrestling.
Southpaw Regional. That was peak comedy.
Yeah, that was great.
That was all on YouTube, and we all watched it. Like, why is this not on telly?
Was that not the one where John Cena was the commentator or something? Yeah.
John Cena was Lance. Was it Lance Catamaran?
Lance Catamaran. Yeah, that was brilliant. That was really.
Oh, it was great fun.
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan but Bales. Oh, that's fair to be like. It was most of it bad, but there was some like comedy. But Daniel Bryan talking about Bales will never not be funny.
Yeah, definitely right.
Saturday Morning Slam.
Yeah, that was like
great fun.
Kind of replaced that with Speed now, isn't it? Like,
can we not go back to Saturday Morning Slam with Daniel Bryan talking Bales?
Go back to Saturday Morning Slam.
He goes a bear hug. Like Cesaro put a bear hug on someone and went, not.
Right, you tell me why Tony Khan is the best, and I'll need to come up with a reason.
He got rid of the. This is talk about your best pal here, Tony Khan, obviously. He got rid of a toxic backstage presence in CM Punk, and CM Punk deserved to be sacked.
Yeah. Okay. If CM Punk's going on another show and becoming a legend again and in the best program of his career is good for AEW, then fair enough. I don't disagree that AEW is probably a better place behind the scenes without CM Punk. I don't disagree with that. But Tony Khan was not in fear of his life, and I think there's bigger problems than what Tony Khan is saying there were. Watch that video back. CM Punk starts that. CM Punk goes up to Jack Perry. I know you can say Jack Perry starts it in the CM Punk is not innocent there, and I've been very open about that. And you can probably make the case. You can probably make the case that Tony Khan fired CM Punk when he had already quit. So, not like CM Punk would probably been gutted by that.
Yeah.
So, I do think CM Punk and AEW behind the scenes towards the end was not a good fit, and probably Tony Khan did the right thing. So I'm going to agree with that actually.
I did see someone put. I don't think it could be summed up better than this. Everything Punk said and did was true and right, but he went about it completely wrong.
I'm not saying that's wrong.
No, I think that's the best way to sum up CM Punk and AEW.
Yeah, and I think the thing is as well, Tony Punk said that the first 18 months was pretty good, and maybe less than that. It wasn't until the Adam Page thing, the promo, that it went down south. Like, it seemed pretty good before that. It did. You didn't hear anything negative at all. You actually heard the opposite, that everybody was loving Punk being there. And then it just fell pretty quickly. And again, I imagine you probably got a Young Bucks thing later on, but...
Oh, I have several.
Yeah, like we'll probably go back to that later. Second gimmick that was very underrated. Do you remember ECW 2006? Why should they have made the ECW Zombie World Champion?
Again, go back to Natalia. It was unique. The Zombie made everyone. Zombie he stood out for the rest of the roster. He was phenomenal in the ring. One of the best wrestlers maybe of all time. And yeah, should have made him ECW champion. Better than Vince. He made Vince champion. Made Vince champion. Make anyone champion.
The best story about the new ECW is the night of the first show. The ECW Zombie, I'm pretty sure, was an alien. And they changed it to a zombie. Because remember, they were on Sci-Fi, so they were making it. It was either an alien or a spaceman or something. And they put him up against. They put him up against Sandman, and Sandman, just with his Singapore cane, decided to knock the shit out of him. And we didn't really see the ECW Zombie again. And that way, your kind of cards marked after the first night. Yeah. That was that.
Shockmaster.
Yeah, like I don't think we
was that coming up now?
No. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt with that, because I think all that stopped that from being a good gimmick was the fact that he fell over a board of wood.
It also looked crap. Let's be honest here.
Just a helmet.
The glitter thing. What was he doing? Even without falling over, it was still crap.
Yeah, it's funny though. Right, number 2 for you.
Well, you mentioned them there. The Young Bucks are the 3 most professional EVPs that he could have got.
I'll say about Kenny Omega.
Well, the Young Bucks and Omega, sorry.
Kenny Omega is becoming one of my favourite people in the world right now. Like, he just looks professional. The Young Bucks, see, the thing with the Young Bucks is they are not playing characters. That's what they are probably like behind the scenes, or what they are like right now. And it's so like, I compared Tony Khan to Roman Roy from Succession a few months ago on here. They are Todd and Rod Flanders. That's what they are like. They are not like, the FDR were spot on with that. And there's Tony Khan.
I did not think it was going there.
Thinking he's Roman Roy running about, sending. Do you know what I mean? Like, wearing a neck brace. And again, you're making me defend the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are phenomenal wrestlers. They are not EVPs. They should be nowhere near it. And have you noticed? We do all realise, and this is no disrespect to Okada. Okada's playing what Cody would have been. See, if Cody was still in AEW, he would have been Okada in Okada's role.
He would have been great at that as well.
It would, and I think it would have made it a lot better. And I'm not disrespect. Look at the size difference between Okada and the other 3. Yeah. Like, it's like a dad taking his 3 kids to the park when they come out of a limousine. Like, it's like you're waiting on them running off to get ice cream. It's that, like, and again, it could turn out great. What is the end game? And I'm more and more convinced that we might not actually see Kenny Omega for a long, long time in the ring. Like, I know I know he took the bump, and he's probably only taking the bump if he's ready to take a bump. But I don't think he's rushing back. I don't think he can rush back. He is.
I think
that promo was real.
Nah. I like him almost like running the show from the hospital.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Tony Khan, kind of like just said, you take over.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not really, because on Dynamite, you had 3 people making 3 matches. You had Kenny making Anakin Dina. You had Bucks making Swerve Christian Cage. And you had Tony Khan making Adam Copeland and Brody King. No DQ. No DQ, sorry.
Yeah.
So you had 3 folk running the show. So I think, don't know if they're going to make Anakin Dina a stipulation, as in whoever wins runs the show while Tony's not there.
Yeah.
Young Bucks, I think the Elite or the New Elite, whatever they're called, should win that.
Is Danielson the right shot? Is Danielson right for that role now?
Danielson's perfect.
Do you think so?
Tony Khan has said in the past, if he dies, Brian Danielson is getting AEW.
Yeah.
So if you're naming them,
I mean
Team
more
AEW.
I mean, like the storyline of the Ospreay match. Like, should he be back that quick? If that's, I know it's double nothing. Do you know what I mean? Though, like, that's what
you can spin it as, oh, he's doing it to help Tony.
Yeah, and you can probably spin it as
he's got respect for Omega, things like that.
You can spin it as he's coming back too soon. He's going to be the one that loses it because he's back too soon, which again is probably fine. Right, number 3. Ready for this? She's a Raw Women's Champion or the Women's World Champion. But do you remember when Becky Lynch was an Irish dancer? Why should she have been that instead of the man? Look at your face.
I don't want to use the word unique again, but this was the gimmick she had in the Indies. She was Irish in the
I don't know if she had it in the Indies. She did it in NXT.
No, I think when she was in the Indies, she kind of played into the Irish a bit more. Like, so again, they've done it with Adam Cole. They've done it with Samoa Joe. They've done it with all these big indie guys when they took their indie gimmick, brought them to NXT, and they done the same with Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
So this is what she wanted to do. So I still think if she was in all green with a bloody nose after Nia Jax, I think it was a lot better. Maybe a leprechaun hat as well.
Yeah.
I think that'd be life so much better for everyone.
Yeah. With a Richmond port link just in the
pint of Guinness.
Yeah.
Splitting the G.
That was the best thing. That was the best thing to happen to Becky Lynch, was getting punched in the face. Like,
I mean, they'll say that, yeah.
Like, it's obvious though, like, she was floundering. She wasn't floundering, she was getting there, but that just made her a superstar.
It took her from here to here.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've done Becky Lynch as the Irish dancer. What's the third reason that Tony Khan's the god?
Well, this is kind of going into what you're doing for me. But this is the only sort of gimmick I've got. He made the Nightmare Collective. Remember them? He made them the best group in the history of wrestling.
Was that the Brandy Rhodes Awesome Kong thing?
Yep, that was that. But they didn't.
They shaved somebody's head.
Yeah, aye. Who did they shaved Sean Ross Sapp's head? I think that rings a bell.
Did they?
When he cut his hair for charity, and I think he got them to do it, but only that was on telly.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Like,
yeah,
again,
he used to have like long hair, and obviously he gets short hair now. But I know he got the Nightmare Collective shirt to cut his hair, and you're going to tell me why they are the best. Why Tony Khan has made them the best group in wrestling?
Certainly got Brandy on the telly and made a legend in Awesome Kong a household name in AEW.
Has Brandy Rhodes been on telly? Good thing.
You're going to laugh at this. I don't think Brandy Rhodes is that bad. Not in the ring, God no, but she's not the worst at promos. Like, go back and listen to the one with Dan Lambert. She's not terrible. It's very, very ranty, and she does the kind of same line thing, like the open mic night thing. But she's not terrible on the mic.
There's a reason she's not been on WWE TV.
No, I don't think Cody doesn't.
Cody's been there 3 years and she's not been on telly once, apart from Mania when she was there at the end.
She doesn't. She should have just done her cooking show. Did you ever watch the reality show her and Cody did?
Go Big Show.
No, it was like Roads to the
that
Top.
one?
Nah.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Watched that?
I watched like the first 2 episodes and got bored.
There is no way on earth you should make DDP as intriguing as he looked in that episode because he was around Brandy and Cody. I can imagine Cody being the most boring person in the world when he's alone.
Oh, 100%.
Like I can imagine like he's
your typical American, isn't he?
mm,
Tattoo,
a
dog,
bit
wife.
xenophobic, but again.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
The tattoo and the dog.
Yeah.
It's got a good dog. I like his dog.
Yeah. Right, number 4. I think you're going to like this one because I think you are a big fan of this wrestler, as am I, and he should have been better used in WWE. Brodus Clay, main event player.
Jesus Christ.
Why should he have main evented WrestleMania 30 instead of Daniel Bryan?
As the Funkasaurus.
No, as a main event player. Remember, he changed his gimmick and turned heel, and he was the main event player after being the Funkasaurus.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, everyone didn't like the Funkasaurus. Let's be honest. It brought out, you got Naomi and Cameron, so got him away from that, which is always a positive. Anything that gets him away from having God's theme song. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the fun. Yeah, I do. Yeah, God. Remember he did the thing with Tensai and Tensai drenched up in the lingerie.
Yeah.
In fairness, you've got to thank John Cena for Brodus Clay getting a WrestleMania moment. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, I have heard that.
John Cena went to the toilet. Yeah.
Yeah. And he made his match. He made it went from 2 to 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. Like,
So I mean, yeah, I got him
Clay.
away. It got him away from the Funkasaurus. Anything that gets anyone away from the Funkasaurus can only be seen as a positive.
The main event player, Brodus Clay. Right, Scott, number 4.
It's Twitter game.
Oh dear. No, I can't, mate. I can't. He needs to. That was one of the things of getting pile drived. That I was like, that keeps him off Twitter for a few weeks. You can argue in a way that he's very, very. I wish I had a Tony Khan wanting for SM Media because he does nothing but promote the content he's got. Like he's very, very active at doing it. So in fairness to him, but is it a bad thing? Is it always a good thing when you are literally like even his interview with NFL Network, he is plugging stuff, and you can tell the people interviewing him are like, "What on earth are you talking about?" Like he's like, "Yeah, we've got Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue, and you'll only see that on Dynamite at 9 o'clock." During while he's going up against, so he's promoting something against the draft that he's going to be at, and
yeah,
no,
and his neck breaks when moving his head.
Yeah, the neck brace thing was a shambles. But
It was funny.
You can make the case that he does. He's good at promoting him. He's passionate about promotion, and I quite like that. I don't really disagree with him doing that. It's the fact when he goes into, he does the Meltzer stuff and just gets into silly arguments, and you don't win them. You don't win them. See, if you're having an argument with somebody with 4 followers, you're not winning that, even though you've got the higher following, because you just look like a petty child.
Aye.
So,
I some of his tweets are funny, but like, do you remember the John Cena Undertaker one?
No.
It was after it was when NXT beat AEW in the ratings. When Taker, Cena, Paul
Heyman was there, yeah.
Asuka was it? I think Asuka faced Lyra, I think.
Yeah, she did, yeah. That was a good match, actually.
Aye. Tony Khan put on Twitter, congrats to, this was the first time in both of their careers that John Cena and The Undertaker were on a show with less than a million viewers. This is all thanks to AEW. Something like that.
And it's stuff like that doesn't help him. He's like,
no.
And that's where I don't get we're having a 5-star match. And Punk's right about this, by the way. If you're having a 5-star match and the building's half full, you can't brag. Because
I mean, I would rather see, as a fan, this is why I've always said about AEW, as a fan, I would rather have good telly, had good matches in half-empty arenas, than bad telly in full arenas. Tony Khan, obviously, Paul Beck, Nick Khan, whoever, probably sees it the opposite, obviously, because they're businessmen. But I've always seen it as a fan, I don't care about ratings. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
I want good telly.
And I don't think TV networks are that concerned with ratings as much as they used to be, especially in sport. Like, we don't consume sport the same as we used to. And a case of this tomorrow, well, while we're recording this after the Rangers Celtic game. Well, we're recording this before the Rangers Celtic game. I'm not going to be watching the Rangers Celtic game live, right? Because I can't, because I'm at a conference. But I'll be watching it later on. And I bet you that gets us just as good a rating as it does live in certain areas, because we consume sport in a different way. We are able to consume sport in a different way. I don't watch Dynamite. I think I've watched Dynamite live once, and it was the Punk show, the Punk debut, and that's the only time I've ever watched Dynamite live. Because we can't watch Dynamite live.
I didn't watch that live. I was working.
I definitely watched that live because I might have watched another one, but I can't remember. I think it was before the pandemic that I watched that one live. I watched one live. But again, it just doesn't help himself for that. Like, nobody cares about the 18 to 49 demo. And if you do,
I've got the tweet here.
You're a loser.
Yeah. I've got the tweet here. I'll read it for you. Where is it? Just went away. There we go. This week, 2 active decades-long rating streaks from 2 great legends were ended. With all due respect, until this week's head-to-head AEW on TBS versus WWE on USA, neither John Cena nor Undertaker had been on a WWE show with under 1 million total viewers and under 400k in the demo. I remember reading that and thinking, did he just say that? Like, why did he say that?
He thought writing that though that the AEW hardcore would defend that and be like, haha, he's getting one in WWE. WWE have horsed him in the ratings there. So how's that a success?
It was 900k to 600k or something like that.
And see, that's not terrible for AEW.
That's a third.
It's not, but that's
a third
not
gap.
Right. Probably take away Cena Taker. It's probably a lot closer. 600k for AEW, I don't think it's bad. Like, it's not. That's a good TV show. That's a good number for a TV show. Like, it is. Like, let's not kid ourselves. The AEW ratings aren't bad. It's just that he has just put them on such a high pedestal because he's trying to compare something to that's already 30 years built. So you and I try to compare. It's like you and I try to compare ourselves against Cultaholic. We're not there yet. We're nowhere near it.
Now we're better.
Yeah, we might think we're better, but not the YouTube algorithms don't suggest that because they have a bit better built audience. They've been around longer. They are more used. Do you know what I mean? Wrestling fans are more used to them.
I think with the ratings, it's because this time 2 years ago, AEW were getting 900k to 1 million.
Yes.
When NXT moved to Tuesday, obviously Wednesday they were head to head. But NXT moved Tuesday, the AEW ratings went up massively. I think they averaged maybe 900k when obviously Punk came in, Danielson came in, Cole came in, product to the second half, well, even the whole of 2021. Maybe when fans came back, even before fans came back, I think AEW was on a phenomenal stretch of TV in terms of quality.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's not as good as it was, I don't think it ever will be as good as that.
No.
It's fallen. It's sunk, really.
Do you know what AEW
and that's why people look at the ratings.
Do you know what AEW need? They need a general manager. And the 5th part of my show is, why should Hornswoggle as the Raw Anonymous general manager should have made sense?
Well, if they told us who it was when it was peak, it'd be a great start. This is the worst one you've given me so far.
Think so?
Yes, it's because I genuinely can't think of anything of why it'd be good.
Have you heard the story that apparently they were going to make him it sooner and they were going to ask him to change his accent to a Brooklyn accent?
No. Have you heard there was going to be Kevin Nash, but then they realised he was with TNA?
Yeah, it was meant to be Kevin Nash, yeah. Do you remember the Raw general manager thing was actually quite a good idea at the start. You were thinking about this is quite like new kind of thing. Like this is going to be quite entertaining. And then they made it Michael Cole's stick. Because it was just a vehicle to turn They should have had Michael Cole as the anonymous GM. That is the way to do that. Not him being a vehicle to just make him the most hated man on planet Earth.
Oh, see Edge. See when they got rid of it with Edge and oh, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Do you remember this? They got rid of it by Edge batting a laptop.
Did he not elbow him? Yeah.
Like he just like your dad trying to work out how to do his banking. It's no working. Oh,
we just need to get away with that. Like,
how can Horns talk about right? I don't even know. Like, if they turned him, as you said, make it part of the story. Don't make it a Santino Marella gimmick. Do you remember that? That's how they found out. Santino turned up with Sherlock Holmes with a hat, the cape, and the glasses and everything.
That's right. Yeah, that was like a Raw one. Was that not in Raw 1000?
No, before Raw 1000, they were like bringing back a bunch of
GMs.
that's right.
Yeah.
Brought a laptop back. Oh, aye, they made it mysterious by having this random stand with a cover on it. Oh, I wonder what that could be.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Right. Let's go to you. We're halfway there on Tony Khan's. Me just worshipping Tony Khan.
He showed us the all-in footage.
Now, you can make the case that he's actually broke GDPR by doing that, because I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Apparently, you're not allowed to show security footage in the United Kingdom without the people involved's permission. And I don't think he would have got permission by Phil Brooks to do that. So I'm surprised this hasn't been made a bigger deal than it is, actually, because I was told the other day, because I asked about this, in relation to something completely different. You're not allowed to share security footage on television without permission. That's why in Crime Watch you see it all blurred. If they'd blurred it, it would have made no sense. He's not allowed to do that. So,
but you said in the UK, the States.
No, it's UK GDPR. It's just it was filmed in the UK, so technically it's.
Oh yeah. Shown, I was at Wembley.
It was shown in the UK, so yeah. Can you make the case that Tony Khan showing that has made AEW more talked about than ever before? Has led to Tony Khan being on the NFL Network promoting AEW? I don't think that happens because he doesn't do the neck brace thing.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, I'm gonna sort of break the curtain here. This list was written about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Before, but this was just after it came out. I wrote this list, and when everyone thought this was a shit idea, why are you doing this?
Yeah, and it was a shit idea. I mean, it didn't do.
I think it still is.
Didn't make any difference. Didn't do anything positive. Like
no,
and it's not that they could brought back Jack Perry without the footage.
So yeah, I mean, Jack Perry would still be. I think we'll get on to Jack Perry.
Oh. Would Jack Perry have beaten Shorty G?
He turned an Olympian into what he looked like something Scooby Doo.
It was. It was something. It was ridiculous, and it's not the worst gimmick on this list, by the way. Because around about that time, there was one worse that was completely irrelevant. Shorty G. Is that better than Chad Gable's current gimmick?
Yeah, I would put Shorty G above it. I mean, to be fair, Shorty G, it was able to sort of associate him with kids and make it more kid friendly, which is what WWE are trying to do. Yeah. But the fact they made an Olympian look like something like Scooby Doo is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. But other than that, no, I like you had an Olympian. He's not even small. He's like 5'9", which isn't small. I'm 5'10", which is average.
This isn't on the list, but do you remember when they were going to make Neville Mighty Mouse? This was worse. Like, because
this was miles worse.
Like, you don't need to call him Chad Gable. What was he even wearing? Like, it was a blue vest with a G on it and like sort of blue basketball shorts. And it made him look taller. Like it did. Like, it just didn't make sense. And that went on for a while as well. I thought the Punk stuff was funny on Monday when he's literally going out through the gorilla, and Chad's roaring at Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine, and he's like, "Just calm down," and you can see that like Otis is trying not to laugh, and I'm like, I think Chad Gable's getting the belt, maybe not at King of the Ring, but he's getting the belt at some point.
Yeah. What do you think he's beating Priest
No,
or Sammy?
Intercontinental.
Or the Intercontinental.
He's beating Sammy.
I think he beat Sammy, but I don't know where. I'd say.
I think you need to
I'd
let
hold
if
it off.
Sammy wins at King of the Ring, probably pins Bronson. Like Chad, he does Chad out of it or something, and then you maybe even do it at Clash.
I think I would have Sammy. You could do it in Clash and then have Sammy win Money in the Bank in Canada.
Yep.
You do something like that.
I think that's probably what's going to happen, and you'll find out more about that as we fantasy book Alpha Academy in the next couple of weeks. That'll be coming out on the channel, so stay tuned for that. Right, number 6 on
Pro Scott.
The Tony Khan list. Yeah, it was all rehearsed, mate.
He somehow turned Jack Perry into a watchable TV character.
He has. I like this Jack Perry. Like, just make him what he is. An arrogant wee naff. That is what he is. That's
naff's a new word.
He is. I mean, for our American viewers, naff is basically just a wee nuisance. And if you don't know what a nuisance is, Google it. You've made Jack Perry into what people thought he was after All In. Like, and a lot. See the scapegoat thing around his arm. It is perfect. Make him the villain. He is. Do you know what I mean? Jack Perry's probably never going to be a babyface. Throw a controversial thing I'm going to throw at you. Who's he going with in real life? I'm pretty sure it's Anna Jay.
I think so.
He needs somebody like that on his arm just to make him even worse. Like,
I would keep him with the Elite for a good while.
Yeah, but bring her in. Make him do what they did. See when Randy Orton was in Evolution and he just had Stacy Keibler in his arm. Just do something like that. Make him, because you can build to.
I think Anna Jay's taller than him, which probably wouldn't help.
Probably, yeah.
Aye.
Probably, yeah. But again, I don't disagree that Jack Perry's probably as popular now than he was when he was Jungle Boy, because you're making him, doesn't need to do much acting. He's an asshole.
Yeah. The best thing about Jungle Boy, I would say one of the only redeeming factor of Jungle Boy was his theme. That's about it.
I thought that was quite good, actually.
Yeah, I like this theme, but apart from that, I was never. Yeah. I remember the Pillars 4-way, which on paper I thought that's a great idea, and then you saw it play out, and then you realised MJF's few levels above the three of these guys.
That was.
I think Jack Perry came with that looking the worst out the four. Because I just think he just looked out his depth. Out his depth sounds harsh, but I can't think of a better phrase to use than he just looked out his depth with those guys.
Right, number 7. Do you remember Eugene?
This is the worst one by far. Like, I said that
fantasy book Eugene is world champion.
Can you? Like, you could easily make him a very good comedy character.
Correct me if I am wrong. He wrestled Triple H at SummerSlam.
Yes, he was in big feuds.
Yeah,
but I don't really know how. I'm gonna put this the best way I can. Vince McMahon put a person on telly who was quite clearly on the spectrum and made DX bully him. That's literally what happened.
Remember, he shaved his head.
Yeah, I know. They just had DX bully the special needs kid basically, and it's the worst. You can't give me a worse gimmick than this, because some gimmicks are bad booked and whatever, but it's very rare you get a gimmick that's so that leaves such a bad taste in your mouth as Eugene.
I mean, it's one of those. In fairness, it's one of those you would get banned for it now. Like,
get crucified for it now.
Yeah,
like
and
you had
you did at the
Muhammad
time.
Hassan.
Yeah, well, that was
Muhammad
one.
Hassan.
The one thing I will say about that is that was kind of. I'm going to sound ridiculous here because you probably shouldn't say what I'm going to say here.
I think I know where you're going with this.
At the time, that sort of opinion, a lot of people had that opinion. I'm not saying that's right, but
we go on Rangers Twitter, it's the same opinion in 2024.
Exactly, yeah. Like, there is a lot of people who viewed that Muhammad Hassan character as representing their biggest hate in the world. Totally wrong.
Yeah.
But they
horrendously wrong.
Played on that a bit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there was at least that gimmick. At least he was talented enough to kind of make that work. It was just terrible circumstances that caused him to fall off a cliff.
I think the fact that, am I right in saying it was in the UK? WWE, the SmackDown was in the UK.
I don't know if it was filmed
when
in the UK.
7-7 happened.
It was the thing with Undertaker went out that night. I remember that live.
Yeah.
I remember watching that, and like that was a big thing at the time. Like,
I went to London the next day.
I was in England at the time. I don't think I was in London, but I was in England around that time as well. But back to Eugene, that's the sort of thing like now you're never getting away with.
No, neither, as you shouldn't.
No,
Billy and Chuck in this, because that's another one you can add to the list.
Yeah, Billy and Chuck. There was another one. Remember?
Was that on the list?
No, it wasn't. I didn't actually think about that. I was going to put HLA in, if you remember that. I'm not going to say what it stood for, but do you remember that?
No, we can't.
No, but you know what I mean. If people don't know what I'm talking about. The other one I was going to put in, remember Vince McMahon was going to make Stephanie's daughter his own?
Yeah.
Right. Never get away with that now. Never.
No,
you wouldn't get away with that. You wouldn't get away with that at the time. There was one that I was going to put in that was insane. Do you remember when somebody said in a writers' meeting that they were going to bring back Heidenreich as a Nazi stormtrooper? And who was going to be his manager?
I'm not sure.
Jewish Paul Heyman. Who on earth comes up with that? I think the guy get fired for it, and this is one of the very few times you should be ashamed of yourself.
Do you remember the Mustafa? Do you remember the lawsuit that came out a couple of years ago?
Yeah, let's not go into that. That was insane.
Google it.
But that sort of thing was going on in WWE. Those opinions were shared. Don't think you'll get them in AEW, as you'll probably get into the next one. What was Tony Khan's? What's number 7 in Tony Khan's list?
He's got the most harmonious backstage environment that you've ever seen in wrestling.
According to him, yeah. But is it the safest environment? He's got a good discipline committee. Don't get that anywhere else. You don't need that anywhere else.
It's just Danny Bryan making all decisions.
How many locker rooms you think they have? Like, I looked at the roster the other day, it's about 3 pages long.
But they're not all the rosters on tail every week, but like, I think the Elite will have their own. I think some of the women will have their own. You probably get. Well, how big is the backstage in some arenas?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Have you seen how big the arenas are at? Like, have you seen how big backstage is at like WrestleMania? Well, it's obviously it's a stadium, like it's mental.
How do you? I'd get lost.
Like they go in like a buggy. There's buggies everywhere. Like, it's brilliant. I tend to think that Tony Khan kind of realizes himself that he needs people to help him. Like, he's beginning to make some hires that suggest to me that he's making it more a bit of a friendly atmosphere backstage. It's a bit more of a boss environment. Like, because Tony Khan's not that I'm saying every boss needs to be threatening, but if Tony Khan comes up to you and tells you to do something, you can't
just look him up and down.
You're like 2 foot higher than him. You're like, who are you talking to? And I think he's kind of slowly coming around to that. Like, I need a bit of help here, and hopefully he gets it, because I think, as we say, we don't want AEW to struggle. We want AEW to be good behind the scenes. We want AEW to be good on camera, and this is the way to go. So Number 8. Do you remember Emma?
Yes.
Do you remember the 8 months where she was changing her gimmick and then she changed it back within a night? Would Emelina have worked?
I think it would have worked because it's how Vince liked his women. But for some reason, as in how Vince liked to present women on telly. But I don't even know. I don't even know the story behind it. I don't know
Apparently
why.
it was because she just didn't suit it. Like she was trying. I think there was rehearsals and she just couldn't do it. Like,
but yeah,
how do you do rehearsals and not be able to just make yourself look good?
because Emma, she's a good looking girl. That's a good woman.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like she's, do you know what I mean? Like she shouldn't struggle at that, but she did.
Yeah.
And this is a time though where WWE's writing was atrocious. Like
this was bad. This was the
this
worst
was
Vince.
this was like 2018, wasn't it? This was a terrible.
2018, 2019, 2020, 2021
Yeah.
is some of the worst TV I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. It was to
And
the
yet
point
a
when
Roman Reigns tribal chief within that, which was good.
I kind of stopped watching at that point. It was actually Roman. It was actually Roman turning heel that kind of got me back into it. Like,
weirdly enough, it was the pandemic that got me back into it because it was something to do.
Yeah, fair enough. But some of the wrestling that it was atrocious. But yeah, Emelina should have worked.
It should have. It could have worked, and it should have worked. But
did they do that? Did they do the
meme.
Carmella? The Carmella thing's probably what they were trying to do with that. Remember they made her with the mask and all that.
Yeah.
Probably what they were trying to do with that. Some along those lines.
And that annoyed me because she just inserted herself into Bianca Sasha with Reggie was in there as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, leave them alone.
Yeah.
Just let them be who they are. And then they somehow had a phenomenal wrestling match at it because they're two of the best women's wrestlers of all time. But just Carmella and Reggie should have just been punted in at the bin in that feud. Just let them.
Right. Let's go to number 8. We'll need to get through these quick.
Again, this one's true. He got Mercedes Moné, Okada, and Ospreay signed from over WWE.
Yep. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I think as well, I'm going to say something positive here. He is clearly good at selling the product because he does not get he probably gets Okada. I think he gets Okada anyway because I think Okada probably felt at home with the people that were in AEW. And a few of these, like Takeshita's went, Shibata's there a lot. Like do you know what I mean? There's a lot of New Japan guys in AEW now, so he probably felt at home. I don't think it's the same. Probably Nakamura's probably the only one I can think of, and maybe Cody. He would probably have known from Japan, and like Asuka, obviously the women as well. But like he is AJ. He's done very, very well at selling AEW, and again, you can't really knock back £20 million a year.
I'm saying he's very good at selling himself, the product, and his checkbook.
Yeah, fair enough. And again, that's not a bad thing. He's doing like that again. And already I'm like, why is Mercedes fighting for the TBS title? Get her to the top of the card quick. She doesn't need to be fighting Willow. And I get there's a story there. That doesn't need to be like double
I've
nothing.
seen people sort of compare it to. I've seen a lot of stick for Mercedes in terms of why is she not doing anything. But I also saw the same stick. But then those people come back saying Punk didn't wrestle for about a month.
Mm-hmm.
But Punk was cutting good promos.
Yeah.
Mercedes, isn't he?
No, she's just kind of.
Face Sasha and face Mercedes is not good.
Nah.
Face Sasha was never really good.
No.
Face Mercedes isn't great either.
No.
Turn her heel because you get Willow's perfect baby face. You can literally redo Bailey Sasha with Willow Mercedes.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Somebody that's in AEW who had a terrible gimmick in the WWE main roster. Keith Bearcat Lee.
This one's sad. This one makes me sad because I love Keith Lee.
So yeah.
I still love Keith Lee.
That Survivor Series against Roman, you're thinking he's the next big star, and they do this.
They give him a crap theme. They make him wear a skirt. They make him wear a top. what you're doing. Just make Keith Lee be Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Because he's Keith Lee.
And it's that simple.
I mean, apparently the Bearcat, apparently Vince was quite big on the Bearcat thing. Don't know if you had Keith Lee on Talk of Jericho, but when I think Keith Lee returned, the same night fans came back. That was his first night back.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Keith, I think he actually got beat by Bobby Lashley the first night back, which is not a good start.
That's right, yeah.
And then he went back, saw Vince and Gorilla. And Vince actually left Gorilla during Raw to have a meeting with Keith Lee about his gimmick, about the Bearcat thing. So Vince was obviously high on the Bearcat thing, and then sacked him about 2-3 weeks later, which again, Vince is going to Vince. But I mean, I think there's something, this is going to, pun intended, there's something to get your teeth and claws into with this, because he's Keith Lee, he can make anything work.
Yeah.
He's a big, athletic guy. I like the way he talks on the mic, kind of, some folk like it, some folk don't. I quite like it.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I like his cadence, that kind of style out top. But yeah, it could have worked. More time, more better matches, longer matches, and it could have worked. But again, he gets sacked. But 3 weeks after he started it, so
yeah. Right, number 9 in Tony's. We're nearly at the end game.
He got rid of Cody Rhodes.
Yeah. Cody was stale. Cody was stale in AEW. Like, you imagine what Cody would be like now if he was still babyface?
I think he'd be on Team AEW.
No, but remember, he wasn't getting massive pops. Like, he was getting he was getting stale.
It was Cena. It was Cena levels.
Yeah, it was. And I think he would have had to have turned heel just to get him back. Like, he did the thing with Dustin, which was really good, right? The first match with Dustin was brilliant. And then he goes into the thing with Anthony Ogogo, which should have been much better than it was. And he should have made Anthony Ogogo. Anthony Ogogo, I'm a big boxing fan, as you know. Anthony Ogogo was perfect for that would have worked. But it wasn't about Anthony Ogogo, it was to make Cody look better. And there's some good stuff in there. The stuff with MJF. Again, MJF could do a promo battle with this spotlight I'm in front of, and he would make it work. And then it just got a bit flat, didn't it? The Brody Lee stuff was good, and then just Cody was just... And he has went to WWE, learned from that, has a bit more, there's not as much responsibility on Cody, doesn't have Brandy there who was making him heel as well. Like, do you remember like every promo, and again, this is my big thing with Cody at the moment, is not every promo needs to be about Dusty. It doesn't.
No. Just
don't talk about your dad all the time. Yes, from time to time, I totally agree with it, but not like, it doesn't need to be all the time, and that's when it can get stale. And that's always my worry with a babyface champion is that you need to keep them going all the time. You need to spice it up a lot, or it just gets boring fast. Yeah. And this is where I think Cody did in AEW. Like, it was getting, you say that promo, that thing, that was terrible. There was a few
Cody's
things.
of racism.
Yeah, like, it was bad. Yeah. Like, just, I think Cody's better out with AEW. There's my...
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. And he's better off just doing what he's doing. Final gimmick, and it's the most satisfying gimmick for me. Do you remember when WWE announced they were going to debut a new faction? This invading faction that announced to WWE ahead of time that they were going to invade? Fix Retribution.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like them smashing the windies. They smashed the windy, the comment or whatever. So the windy smashed and he chucks another brick for no reason.
Do you know the only thing from Retribution that I liked and thought this could actually be quite good? Do you remember the night the Hurt Business came out to face off with them?
Yeah.
Go and watch that back. The Hurt Business look like superstars. Like they're coming. It's so well done. The Hurt Business look great, and then it just descends to somebody's wearing a plate over their face. You're calling them Slapjack, T-Bar.
The names are so.
Who
funny.
come up? If that's Vince, he deserves. Like, do you know what I mean? He should have been sacked that night.
No, this is 100% Vince thinking these are cool. This is Vince in the 1970s. I watched the film. That work in the film. That's in the 70s or 80s. Oh man, it's funny. And they just there's see if you go back and watch them at the very start. It's so funny. There's a guy with a baseball bat just hitting the ring, just hitting the canvas for no reason.
Yeah. There's like 30 of them at one point, and then the next day
there's
5.
like 4.
Yeah,
there was
and then it
a
turns
5,
out to
and
be
then became 4 because Martinez.
She just was like, she just went, I just ripped the mat. She was as well just doing it on telly. She was just like throwing it away.
Aye.
And then
Scooby-Doo, take the mask off.
Again, what was the end game there? But I'd love to know. I'd love to sit somebody down and go, what was this going to do? Like, who was?
You remember Raw Underground came out the same night? Raw Underground debuted the same night as Retribution did.
Did she?
Do you remember Raw Underground with Shane McMahon in that?
Yes, yeah, God.
Yeah, that was the same night.
That was the same night, yeah.
The same night as Retribution.
Raw Underground, yeah. Christ.
That could have been number 11 in this list.
Wow.
Even though it wasn't really a gimmick, but
it was bad. It was bad.
It was funny.
Remember it made
Shane McMahon. That's Shane's little dream in it.
Do you know one that I was going to put in? I was going to put in Akira Tozawa as the ninja. That was one I was thinking, like, you could have made him a star, but no.
That was another borderline racist one.
Yeah, there's just so much. I mean, some gimmicks over the past, and we're not getting that now, so fair enough. Right, what's the last one? Let's get up Tony Khan's backside a bit more here as we wrap up.
Again, to be fair, it's another true one. He's made MJF a star.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think, how good would it have been if MJF's music had played on Wednesday?
Did you hear the crowd?
The crowd was chanting MJF, and I for a moment, because I didn't check any spoilers with this. I watched Dynamite without the spoilers, and I was like, they're not chanting that unless it's true.
I knew the thing is, I knew it was going to be Danielson. I knew Team AEW Danielson's perfect.
I thought originally Moxley. That was who I thought originally.
If Danielson came out first, and there was no Kingston, then I would have thought it might be MJF. But when it was Kingston came out, I knew that I had a good feeling Danielson would be that one.
I thought it was Moxley. But again, Danielson, I don't mind. I just worry, is he ready in terms of storyline purposes? Because you've made him like,
you can smoke in mirrors up.
Yeah, you can, and I think it can actually play quite well into the story. So, yeah, I mean, he's made MJF. How do you bring MJF back? Because he's going to have to tidy up the Kingdom thing, which is just falling off a cliff badly.
It's been badly booked, but I also kind of feel sorry for them. Because the two main guys are both injured.
Yeah.
Like MJF bodies and bits, and Adam Cole's ankles in 14 pieces.
Yeah. And that was clearly, like, it would probably have been wrapped up by now if they were both fit. So, the best thing, I think MJF hasn't been, like, he's been massively missed in terms of his star power. But he can literally come back, and whoever he goes, like him and imagine him a promo battle, him and Ospreay.
Yeah,
like
maybe that's how they have Ospreay beat Strong, the title, and then you've got MJF there.
Yeah,
you can kind of tie it in with Strong, maybe a triple threat, and that feeds off into Cole, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, apparently MJF won't be back for a while because his body was literally falling.
Yeah, and that's where
his shoulder, his knee, they were all in tatters.
And as well as I do, I was hoping in number 30 we were going to hear the intro music to this show, but we didn't. And
you walk it.
It'd be good, wouldn't it? It'd be good, and it's something we'll never change on here. That was fun. I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed that.
We talked about a lot of things. If you've got any that we missed that you want to put in the comments, then please do. As I say, we will be back next week. We're kind of on the road up to Double or Nothing. We'll do something a bit different next week as well, obviously, just to get kind of more wrestling content out there. we're going to have a couple of things obviously going out over the channel over the next few days in terms of writing. That'll come out next week, so stay tuned for that. Scott, thank you very much as always, mate. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
No worries, mate. I had a lot of fun with that.
Brilliant. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you.